Niall Horan. Niall Horan. Niall Horan.
Hi everyone, my name is Nick and this is my presentation on why Niall Horan is a money-hungry grifter and why Harry Styles is better. By me, as I said before, Nick is not green. Here's some backstory. I've wanted to make this video since 2017, when I was a senior in high school. I've been ranting and raving about this stuff to a few of my friends, and every single time I have to frantically go through my Spotify to show the history of both artists and why I feel the way I do about Niall Horan versus Harry Styles. Now listen, I'm not the biggest One Direction fan, never have been, probably never will be. And because of what I'm about to talk about, I became a fan of Harry Styles and I didn't become a fan of Niall Horan, and I'll explain that as this video goes on. Why do I have the credibility to talk about this? Well, I am a YouTuber, and that means that I kind of know what I'm talking about. So let's move on. Warning, if you are a One Direction stan, a Niall Horan stan, or maybe even a Harry Styles stan who associates with the other members of One Direction, please be wary that you may be triggered by the content that you see here. I will probably be pretty aggressive towards Niall Horan in this video, and I will not hold back. So if you are likely to be angered by this video, and if you are likely to harass me because of the video, then please back out now, because you're not going to like what you see. On the contrary, if you are a fan of the truth, make sure you stick around. If you are a coward and you want to hide behind lies, then make sure you back out now, because this is not a place for lies. Now, let's start off with our timeline. The source I'm using for this timeline is Spotify. I also used Wikipedia for some of my facts here today, but Spotify is the main place that we're grabbing from. I used the mobile version of the app because it shows the releases of each single. Let's start out right here in 2016 with my beautiful timeline. September 29th in 2016, Niall Horan was the first member of One Direction, I believe, to release a single, at least between him and Harry. The single is called This Town. It did very well. I think the song was catchy. Wasn't my favorite song, didn't save it to my Spotify, but I enjoyed it. Now, November 18th, a few months later, This Town One Mic, One Take was released by Niall Horan. Now, this is a very important thing, because although it may not seem like a big deal, it will when you get the context of the full situation. A one mic, one take is when you have your acoustic guitar, your voice, and you have one mic in front of you, and in one take you record a song. It is the most simple version of something you can put on Spotify, the lowest effort version, which isn't much of an issue until you get deeper into the context. Next up, December 9th, 2016, less than a month later, he releases This Town, a remix album. It has about 5 or 6 remixes, I believe, of This Town. And this is where I started to get a little sketched out. I thought, you know, I haven't really heard any music from these One Direction guys, but right now it does seem like this guy's kind of milking the song, and I don't really like when artists tend to do that. The reason they do things like remix albums, deluxe albums, is because they make more money off of it. It's another album to sell, another single for people to listen to, and when you have a very strong fan base like One Direction does, they will eat this stuff up, and for me, it's like taking advantage of your fans. There's nothing wrong with making a remix, and there's nothing wrong with making a one mic, one take. But when you have 7 releases and they're all derivative of the same song, I start to get sketched out, and with the context of the full situation, this is a criminal offense. You will start to see why I have such an issue with it as we move on. Now, a big time here is moving into 2017. April 7th, Harry Styles releases his first single, Sign of the Times. I loved this single. It was a beautiful song. This was the first time a member of One Direction had captivated me with music, and I really enjoyed it. Now, right away, something that I admired about Harry. No bullcrap, cut straight to the chase. May 2nd, 2017, less than 1 month later, he released a single for Sweet Creature, second single off of his upcoming self-titled album. Now, May 4th, 2017 comes. It was a little more than 7 months after his first single that he released, and he finally came out with a new one. Now, Harry only took less than 1 month. Niall took a little bit less than 8 months. He came out with this single, Slow Hands, which was a fine song, but I was not into it. I really don't like the cover art, and I don't like the cover art of anything that Niall had put out so far. I felt like it was lazy, and it was like, you know, millennial garbage in a sense, I could say. Harry's covers, on the other hand, beautiful pieces of art. Really enjoy them. I think it's a good representation of what the music sounds like. Keep in mind here that my timeline will continue to shift because I didn't make the whole timeline and then move everything backwards. I made the timeline as I look into the singles, and therefore the times will shift on the timeline and pictures will shift around, and I make mistakes, and I don't like to be perfect. I think things are more exciting when you're not perfect. Let's move on. Harry Styles, May 12th, a little bit over a month since he released his first single, he releases his full debut self-titled solo album. I think it was a great debut album for any artist, especially for someone like Harry Styles, where you have a fan base who's willing to listen to anything you put out, and he decided to put in some real work to make this album happen. He focused on the visuals, he focused on the sounds, he had a real band backing him up. I thought it was really impressive for his first time. Now let's jump back to Niall Horan when he releases a month and a half later 2 remixes for Slow Hands. He uses the same exact cover art, and after that we see an acoustic version of Slow Hands just 1 week later. Then we decide to finally see a third single from Niall Horan. This is over the course of 1 year. We got 3 singles from him. But we have 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different releases from Niall Horan, only 3 of them being original singles, the rest being derivative of them. September 27th, Harry Styles gives us 2 Spotify singles, one his original song 2 Ghosts that he performed, and the other one a cover of the song Girl Crush. I thought they were very good, and I don't mind having Spotify singles for an artist. I think it's a good one-off thing to do to, have something exclusive on the app. Now, Niall Horan decides to hit us with 2 more remixes of Too Much to Ask, his 3rd single. Nothing surprising there. Then we finally get, after 13 months, we get a Flicker Deluxe album from Niall. Now, this whole leading up, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like when you release all these remixes on your profile, an acoustic for every single song, and all this stuff, and then you decide to release a deluxe album. If you don't know what a deluxe album is, it's when you sell a standard version of your album and you sell a deluxe album that includes a few extra singles, maybe some remixes, maybe some acoustic tracks, and you charge more for it. I don't know how he went about it specifically with his deluxe album, but just the fact that it's not packaged as just one thing already kind of throws me off my footing here. Now, of course, after the remixes, you have to get the Too Much to Ask acoustic version. That's November 3rd, a couple weeks after he releases his debut album. Then, Niall decides to hit us December 13th with his Spotify singles, his own song, Too Much to Ask, of course, which he just released an acoustic version of 1 month prior, and then a cover of the song Fool's Gold. Then we get an alternative version of On the Loose. Now, you might ask me, hey, Nick, what's an alternative version? Well, On the Loose is a song on Flickr, and the alternative version actually isn't any alternative version. He didn't put any extra work in for it. It's actually just a radio edit of something. Now, you ask me, Nick, what's a radio edit? Well, it's when a song maybe has too much fat on it, and, it's longer for the regular version of an album, but maybe they cut it down for size so a radio station can play it and it's only 3 minutes long. No radio station wants to play a 5 or 6 minute song. On the Loose is a song that already exists, and 4 months after he puts it out on his deluxe album, he decides to tell his fans, oh, we released an alternative version. You can buy it here, you can stream it here, you can make me more money, but actually it's not anything different. You just get less of a song that you like, I guess. March 9th. He's releasing On the Loose as a single, so you know he has to hit you with that Basic Tape remix 1 month later. Oh, what was that? On the Loose acoustic, March 15th? This is nothing new for Niall. He's got to keep selling those streams. He's got to keep selling those singles on the iTunes store. Oh, he's got to hit you with the Slender Bodies remix too, March 23rd. In the span of a little over 1 month, we've gotten 4 versions of this song that released back in October, which not a single one of them he put a second of his own work into, but he will be making royalties off of all of them. At the same time, we still look back at Harry. Guess what? He's only got a very clean packaged album on his Spotify and a couple nicely produced singles on Spotify singles. Oh, what was that, you ask me? Oh, Niall did a song for a movie? Why would he do that? Oh, wait. Cha-ching. Yeah, for the movie Smallfoot, Niall did a song Finally Free that he made just for the movie, and he put it out and he promoted it to all of his fans. And, movie singles, depending on whether or not it's a good song, it can be a good thing. But most of the time, the movie's looking for something very specific from you so you can get your fat paycheck and you can move along. We look back at the history. Of course, you can see at the right that I ran out of space for the next 3 years. We will be moving on in the next slide. But as you can see right now, Niall has released all of these singles, a lot of which include somewhere from 2 to 5 or 6 singles inside of them, while Harry has released a very limited amount and his performed much better. He had much better reception. Let's see what happens when we move on to 2019. At the beginning of 2019, Niall decides to take his whole album Flicker, which was released back in 2017, and a year and a half later decided to play the whole thing with an orchestra. Now, I think that's really beautiful, and for an album you like, I think playing with an orchestra can be a good time. Unfortunately for Niall, he has already proven to me that I don't think he's doing this for reasons that are not just like, let me make some more money where I don't have to write music. But hey, what do I know? Before I move on, I need to go take a bathroom break. Sit tight with me real quick. Am I in a hotel, you ask? Yes, I am. I am in a hotel. I just got a haircut also. Let's get back to it. The next release we have in 2019 is September 27th, which is Harry Styles' lead single for his second solo album, and the song is called Lights Up. Very well received song. I liked it. Good old time. Now, we finally get a new single in October from Niall for his second upcoming album, and it's called Nice to Meet Ya. It's a horrible song. It sounds like a ripoff of him trying to be Alex Turner from Arctic Monkeys. He does not even have that voice. I don't understand what he was trying to do, but whatever, it's fine. Also, every single cover of like all of his music is like really bad. I don't think the Too Much to Ask cover is that bad, but like the font on all the stuff is just like not good, especially Slow Hands. I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, did that photo really stand out to you as the one that like needs to be on a cover of a single that millions of people are going to listen to? Really? Look at that. And then look at the cover for his Deluxe album. It's just literally a close-up of his face. Nice to Meet Ya comes out. Then, of course, we get an alternative version of Nice to Meet Ya. 20 days later, Nice to Meet Ya stripped version. I don't know what that means. Oh, what's that? Oh, you need your Nice to Meet Ya Diplo remix. Oh, then we get our second single from Harry Styles, Watermelon Sugar. Very well received. A great pop tune. November 17th. Less than 2 months later. A little bit slow for Harry Styles standards, but compared to Niall Horan, he is Lightning McQueen. Niall comes out with Put a Little Love on Me, December 6th. 2 months later, he finally gets that second single out there. Him and Harry are kind of, matching each other at the moment. He's not doing too bad, besides the fact that he keeps throwing all this crap onto streaming services. Harry Styles, less than 1 month later, puts out a third single for his album, Adore You, my favorite song of his. Then 1 week later, we get Fine Line, Harry Styles' second solo album. Very well received, very many sales, top of the charts everywhere. And the last thing that Harry Styles has put on Spotify since then. Now, let's see what Niall's been up to up until this point. Next up, we get No Judgment, another single, looking like a cover for maybe a song that's going to be in the next James Bond movie. It's him sitting there with his guitar, and he's got the weird font on the O and the G. I don't know what that's for, but what am I to know? Then, of course, we get the second Spotify singles from Niall. Nothing really wrong with doing Spotify singles, but he's already done one, but I guess he wanted to do another one. He played his song, No Judgment. He did a cover of the song Lover. Then, of course, you have to get your No Judgment acoustic version. Then you got to get your No Judgment remix. Then you got to get your Heartbreak Weather album. He finally puts out his second album after every single one of these releases up until then, and he puts out the album that I didn't even know came out until I started doing research for this. I think I heard of it a couple times, but I never listened through it. Then he takes a song off of that album, Black and White, makes it a stripped version, throw that on to streaming services, play with a guitar, a tiny little drum set, maybe I don't even know what, I didn't listen to it. Oh, you're going to do Black and White, but you're going to make it an Oliver Nelson remix. I don't know, pay Oliver Nelson, a little fee, put that on streaming services, you make a $1,000,000, whatever. Moral of the story, Niall Horan features on a song with a different artist and goes in the booth, does a couple verses, hops out. New song to put on streaming platforms. And this for me is the cherry on top. Niall's mix. Now, what is Niall's mix, you ask? Well, Niall's mix is, I think, about 6 songs that Niall decided to repackage onto streaming services. These are 6 pre-release songs that already were on old albums that are Niall's favorite songs he's written, and he decided to put them on an EP of songs that already exist and put them on streaming services to package and resell to his fans who want to support him in everything he does. Then he does a song called Our Song with another artist. Of course, what's leading up to that? You have the Our Song Luca Schreiner remix that comes out June 4th. You have the Our Song acoustic version that comes out June 18th. You have the Our Song Just Kiddin' remix, which is what I wish Niall would have said when he put out all this crap. And then you have the Our Song Mocha Nola remix that was out on July 2nd, 2021. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, but I want to get to the analysis portion of my presentation. Why does this matter? What are the effects of it? Why does it make me so angry? Well, if we want to hop back and look at our 2016 to 2018 timeline, we can see what we like to call oversaturation. We see Niall putting out the same amount of music as Harry, one album versus one album, but you can see how much crap Niall packages together to put out there onto streaming platforms versus the amount that Harry puts out there. If you go to the Spotify pages for both of them and you go to their discography, you can see how much difference there is between the two artists and how much more accessible Harry is to get to them. Now, let's move from our timeline to 2019 to 2021. I'm going to put both of these up on the screen next to each other. You can see how much stuff is on the discography page of Niall Horan. And this isn't even just one single song after one single song. Some of these are packaged together as multiple remixes, a whole EP of songs that are already released. And then you can see, again, from 2019 to 2021, how much Harry's put out. It's the same amount of music, maybe a few more songs on Niall's side, but Niall has to get his stripped version. He has to get his acoustic version. He has to put a song in a movie. He needs to put an EP together of songs that already exist. A lot of this stuff that doesn't do any extra work for him but makes him a bunch of other money while his fans decide to crawl up and consume this content he makes, guys. And to me, that just seems insincere. It doesn't seem like he's actually here to write good music for his fans. And you can see that after we keep analyzing this stuff. Right here, I have Harry Styles' self-titled album next to Niall Horan's Flicker, and you can see the peak positions that both of them had in multiple countries for that album. You can see who performs better than the other person, and I honestly think part of it has to do with the public image of the person. I think Harry was a more popular figure, but both of them came out of a huge career with One Direction. I think one of them made a bigger impact on the general public than the other one. There's a lot of people I know, including myself, who were never into One Direction, and found something that we liked in Harry Styles versus Niall's because I think there was a better rollout, there's better visuals, better music, and you can tell that he puts care into what he does. Now let's look at Harry Styles' Fine Line album versus Niall's Heartbreak Weather. No difference in the amount of music, no difference around the time they put it out versus their career with One Direction, but you can see how both of them performed in multiple different countries. Harry's hitting multiple #1 spots while Niall's barely cracking 2 on a lot of these. Harry Styles' top tracks on Spotify equal 4 billion streams versus Niall's top tracks, which only reach 1.8 billion, not even half. And finally, if we want to look at the reviews, how are they critically received? Harry's album's not much better received than Niall's, but I mean, if you look at it right here, already better on their debut albums by 4 points, and by the time you get to Fine Line, he's beating out Niall by 13 points. In conclusion, I believe that Niall is a money-hungry grifter. Either his management is putting him up to it, or he just doesn't really care about the music as much as Harry. He does stuff that takes very little effort that makes him more money. He's constantly asking his fans to stream music that's already been released or streaming crappier versions of songs he's already put out by random people who are willing to do a remix of it for a quick paycheck. While at the same time, you have someone like Harry doing these very concise album rollouts that feel like they have a lot of love put into them and music that people have been resonating with. The reason why Harry's more successful is because he makes a good project and he puts the time into the music and then he decides to put that out rather than Niall, who makes the music first and then decides how to make the money later. Listen, no hate here at all, but if you're here, it's because you asked, why, Nick? Why do you think Niall's a money-hungry grifter and why do you think Harry Styles is better? And that's why I wanted to make this presentation, because I thought, let me air out my problems with it and put it online so no one has to ask me anymore. So that's my conclusion. Thank you all for coming. I have been Nick is Not Green. This is the Green is Not Nick channel. Please subscribe if you want more One Direction content. And please, follow me on Twitter. And tell me what you thought about my presentation. If you're a Niall stan, please don't ruin my life or dox me. I recently watched the Harry Styles documentary where he plays a lot of songs from the self-titled album. I thought it was interesting. I thought he did some good renditions, and I really like his band. So both of Harry Styles' albums, I mean, I don't have any bias here. It's really just the music I like. Harry Styles, both of his albums, I'm not like that into. I like Fine Line more than the self-titled, but neither of them, I probably didn't play either of them for more than like a few weeks. But I'll keep following his career. Every time he puts out an album, I'll probably have it on rotation for a few weeks before it fizzles out, unless I really resonate with it. So anyway, stream the new Clairo album. Clairo Sling, it's a great album. Probably the best album ever. So love you guys. Peace out. This has been me and my life and my legacy.
This video
Bye.
is over now. You'll find something else to watch, or just watch this video. I know we had a lot of fun, but you can't stay on this end screen forever. This video is over now. So why are you still watching this? Do you not have anything else? I have lots of other videos